too long on my own. I wasn't created to bear it alone. I hear your invitation to let it all go. And I see it now. I'm laying it down. And I know that I need you. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, oh. You saw my condition, had a plan from the start. Your Son for redemption, the price for my heart. And I don't have a context for that kind of love. I don't understand, I can't comprehend. All I know is I need you. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 again and again. Oh, oh, oh. Our heart's been in your sight long before mine first breath, running into your arms is running to life from death. And I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out, and just as I am, you pull me in. And I know I need, sing that again. My heart's been in your sight long before my first breath, running into your arms is running to life from, yes. I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out, and just as I am, you pull me in. And I know I need you now. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, no reason. My heart found, my heart I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I run to the Father again and again. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. Come on. I'm done with the hiding, no reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 again and again. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. Been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. And you have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And all the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. You matter. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Come on, Crosswalk, sing that again. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. No, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Thank you guys for worshiping a Crosswalk with us this morning. Let me ask you something as we start today. Who's ready for spring? Anybody here like this? We'll be your friend anyway, but I don't understand you if you like this. This is a lot. This is a lot. Had to miss 2 weeks. I don't like doing that, but it's good to see everybody here today. And here's my second question. Why does it always seem to snow on the weekend and make us miss church? What on earth's that about? It's always been Friday and Saturday snow, and then or Sunday, and then we miss church. I don't like that. At least we're here today. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Amber Taylor sent me a message this week saying that in honor of the Super Bowl, Andrew was going to show up and pour a cooler of Gatorade over my head when I finished today. I kind of hope not, but maybe we won't do that. We're in the middle of a sermon series called Rhythms. And we're talking about the rhythms of a healthy life. If you're just joining us now, you can go back online and look at the other couple of weeks. I hope you've done that in the time we had off. And we're talking about how we fill our days, what it takes to stay at a place where we're healthy on the inside and on the outside, and where our life is sustainable. We're in a rhythm, in the rhythms of God that are sustainable, and it's going to take us where God wants us to go down the road. Because we talked about in the beginning, God works in rhythms. God has a rhythm of doing things. We can choose to be in that rhythm and going forward, or we can choose to fight against it. And honestly, that doesn't work really well. So this week, I'm going to title, I don't do a lot of message titles, but I'm going to title this one, No Days Off. We're going to be in Genesis chapter 2, if you want to head there. Genesis chapter 2 says this, "Thus the heavens and the earth and all of them were finished." If you read the book of Genesis, God has created. It begins with, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And it goes on for 6 days to tell us what God did each day. But then it says this, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished. And on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had done. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because he rested from all his work, which God had created and made." We kind of read over that and keep moving, don't we? Something for children's church. We don't think about it again as adults. But think about this. No days off. You've heard that phrase, haven't you? You usually see the phrase no days off on Instagram or Facebook, and it's usually somebody that's at the gym faking pushing some weights. No days off. I'm going to keep doing this. They've got this carefully curated selfie to make themselves look optimal buffness, you know. They got these giant weights. They probably took off what they were lifting and put bigger ones on for the picture. You guys would never do that, would you? They got this selfie and they're lifting, and you can't curl it, but you grab it for the photo, right? You got just the right amount of perspiration on your forehead where you don't look like a full-on hot mess, but you look like you've been working. Got your gut sucked in. Get the right angle, minimizes the chin action, and you're going to post it, no days off. At the gym. By the way, if you look up that hashtag no days off, there are 5.7 million posts on Instagram with the hashtag no days off. That's amazing. Says something about our culture there, doesn't it? 5.7 million. People write things like 8 days a week. Well, that's not even possible. What are you talking about there? It's not even physically possible. There's only 7 days, settle down. They write things like, it's a lifestyle. This is my hustle. And we've almost made it normal to look up to extra work, more work, no days off. And it's something we put on social media. And if only it were just something that we throw out there on the internet and not an accurate picture all too often to the trap we all fall into, the way we live life, no days off, no days to recoup from the stress and the pressure. And as a result, there's just this sense of fatigue. And we all just live with it. And we sort of just accept this low-grade anxiety that's become a part of our culture. This is the new normal. Well, it's just the way life is these days. We accept it. No days off. And perhaps, I want you to think of this, but perhaps that may be what's kind of responsible for the spiritual dullness that a lot of people feel, the ache on the inside that we all feel, the distance at times between us and God. We're too busy. We're too full of things. We amuse ourselves to death to the point where we don't have time to listen to what God's trying to say to us. Distance between us and God, and even those we love, even ourselves. There's a disconnect between ourselves and our own soul. We don't know who we are anymore. But there's a better way. In fact, from the very beginning of creation, the beginning of history, God not only commands us before he ever tells us, he commands us to do this. And he's a good leader. Good leaders never will tell you, do as I say, not as I do. Will they? Good leaders say, do as I do. Leadership's an example. It's not just about having authority. So before God ever tells us how important rest is, he shows us and models and demonstrates this rhythm of rest. Did God, was he really physically tired? No. That's for us. He's modeling this idea of rest for us, taking a Sabbath, choosing a Sabbath. In fact, if you read the original Hebrew, what it says is on this day, God rested. The word rested is the word Shabbat. And God Shabbat, you could say God Sabbathed, a verb. Sabbath has a verb there. It's something you can do. He Sabbathed here on this day. He rested. It's literally a stop. God stopped from his work and chose to Sabbath on this day. And I think we're living in a world where rest is too easily pushed to the side, especially mental rest there. And it's something you can do. Rest is too commonly neglected, and it's to our own detriment. I mean, just physically alone. Let's just take away the spiritual side of this, even though there's connection. You're physical, you're spiritual, there's also a mental side, but we have to have that holistic approach to these things because we know there's going to be an overlap. You can't disconnect them, one from the other. But did you know this physically? Before the light bulb was invented, did you know on average Americans slept 10 hours a night? Before the light bulb? 10 hours a night. Now fast forward from then to now, here we are, 2026. What's the average amount of sleep an American gets? Just over 6 hours is the average. Some of you are like, well, that on a good night, right? I'm right there with you. Some of you like me are like, wow, 6 hours, I'd pay for that some nights. Sadly, I'd say I'm right there with you. And I know myself. I know I need more than 6. I know I can probably tolerate and semi-function on 5, but it's not going to do really good. But 6 is okay. 7, what are you even talking about? 8 is unimaginable, and that's probably what my body needs. It's absolutely unimaginable. And you read history and you think it's weird, somebody getting up at 4 a.m. to feed the chickens, and you're like, how on earth did they do that? I'll tell you how. They went to bed at like 4:30. It's dark, let's go to bed. I mean, you can only sit there with the lamplight on so long and walk around with your little stub of a candle before you get bored and you go to sleep, I guess. I don't know. Never had to live that way. Let's go to sleep, right? Sun's down, time to go to bed. And the rhythm of our world has changed so drastically since then, when we could artificially create sunlight. We haven't done real well with it, if I'm honest. Any of you like me, it's almost like your mind thinks it's going to miss something if it goes to bed at a decent hour. You're like, oh, it's only 10 o'clock. I can't go to bed yet. It's not my wife. She's like, 8. And I'm like, got to do something, right? Everything changed with artificial sunlight. And now, of course, we stream the blue light coming in on our phones and our TVs and our devices. And we're able to be kept in what really amounts to torture. It's sleep deprivation. If you did it to a prisoner of war, they would call it torture. It's against the Geneva Convention. Keep them up all the time. Nonstop stream of activity. Years ago, many, many years ago, I was able to attend a sea-level SEER training in the Army. SEER, S-E-R-E, stands for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. And part of that is a prisoner of war training phase. One of the hardest things they ever did. It just really will kick your butt there. But that's the main thing they do during that phase. They lock you in a tiny little box and sleep deprive you for days on end there. It's considered torture. By the end of that, I wasn't sure what was real and what I was hallucinating. I don't know how long it went on. It was so weird. But it's torture, and we're doing it to ourselves. That's what sleep deprivation does to you. In fact, one article I read said that studies have conclusively, not speculation, not linked, conclusively connected sleeplessness to higher rates of irritability, anger, depression, and mental exhaustion. And my wife says amen. Right? She's got to deal with me when I'm sleepy. I was listening to a podcast a while back where they were talking about higher rates of suicide on college campuses. And they said something that stuck with me that was kind of interesting. One psychologist he just sort of quipped it offhandedly, but he said, I wonder what would happen to those rates on those college campuses if they'd just go to bed and get some rest and not live chronically exhausted. I didn't sleep 2 or 3 hours a night in college. I think that's pretty normal in college. I wonder what would happen if they weren't chronically exhausted. It was Corrie ten Boom that said, if the devil can't make us bad, he'll just make us busy. And here we are, we live this life where everything's 1,000 miles an hour. There's text coming in. I've learned to hate texting, by the way. It's like people can get to you all the time. And never can turn it off. I don't know. 1,000 miles an hour. Things we've got to read, places we got to go, stuff we got to do, busy, busy, busy. And we've accepted that this is just how it has to be. God says no. Not only does it not have to be that way, it shouldn't be that way. And listen, I'm preaching to myself here. I'm the chiefest of sinners when it comes to this. There's something you can choose to do, and you can choose to stop. 6 days I've worked. That don't mean you don't work. There's 6 days for that. The majority of your time's for that. And now Sabbath. God said, 6 days I created the world, and now I'll demonstrate and choose what you need to do. Stop right there. Leave the work where it was. You'll come back to it in the new week. Now is time to Sabbath. It's time to receive the gift of tranquility, rejuvenation that will come to you experiencing 24 hours of glorious rest. Y'all are real quiet today. I think a lot of you guys are like me. You tend to fill up all your time. This is the rhythm God's created for us. God built this universe on a pattern of 6 days we labor, and then it's followed by a day of rest. And to go against that and think we can do better than that Doesn't work. We think we know more. No, you don't understand me. I'm on a path right now. I just got to do this for a while and then I'll change. I'm going to have $1 million by the time I'm 30. I don't know. Then I'm going to get an Airstream and go do this and live off the land. I don't know. Hold on a second. You go against the rhythms that God set up in the universe at your own peril. We don't know better. There's a rhythm. There's a tempo. There's a cadence. There's a way God has created us to go through life. God was demonstrating for us in Genesis how he built life to function on this earth. We can't ignore it. If you look into history, it's absolutely fascinating about this. Times where cultures and civilizations have experimented and toyed with the idea of instead of a 7-day week, a 10-day week, or an 8-day week, or some other pattern. And you find that it's disastrous every single time. It affects productivity. Did you know that after 50 hours, any more work you do in a week after that 50 hours, statistically, your productivity does not change? Tell your boss that. Write it down. Doesn't change. You can work 50 or work 70, you're going to get the same amount of work done. You're going to accomplish the same. Why? Because God built us to run a certain way. He built you to run the way he intended you to run. There's a tempo. 6 days are for work and then a day of rest to rejuvenate. And the way the Bible talks about this, the language it uses is you are to delight in what was done those 6 days. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I know so many people that have worked so hard. I love a good work ethic. I admire a good work ethic. But they work so hard and they never enjoy what they're working for. They don't know their children because they work to provide for their children so many days that they should have been with their children. That word, Shabbat, that's what it means. Stop and delight. Stop and enjoy. It's kind of like, all right, if you've ever finished something you're really proud of, something you got to do and you're done and you're happy about that, and you sit back and you look at your work, you create something, we're like, I did a pretty good job with that. That's Shabbat. Stop and delight. It's the way you feel when you're tired. You've worked, but it's a good tired, right? There's good tired and bad tired, right? Yeah, I'll agree with that one. God, for that seventh day, he was looking at the world he had made. He was delighting in it. Look at what's been done. It's a rhythm, and you fight against that rhythm at your own peril. And this is me. This is what I personally believe. I don't think I can find scripture that would necessarily back this up, but my personal belief is I believe if you don't give God the Sabbath, it's going to be taken from you. You don't give this. When God puts something in the universe, into the grain of how the universe is created, you can fight it, but you're going to lose. Oh, no, I know better. No, you don't. You don't. It's the law of the universe. There are laws to this universe and how it's made, and the Sabbath is one of those things. It's like a tithe, right? We've taught this before. You can't properly give a tithe. You return a tithe because God says that is first. The best is mine. So when we talk about it, we probably shouldn't say give your tithes. We should say return your tithe and give an offering. It's a different thing. We talked about how if you don't give it, it's probably going to be taken by something else, right? Things that we don't give, we end up losing. The universe has a certain grain to it. And when God tells us how the universe works, we can fight it, but in the end, we will lose. Romans 2, verse 9 says it. You go against the grain, you're going to get splinters. I mean, that sounds like something my grandfather would have said. Go against the grain, you're going to get splinters. If we do not allow for the rhythm of rest in our overly busy lives, illness becomes our Sabbath. Pneumonia, cancer, heart attack. Accidents create a Sabbath for us. You want to be accident prone? Don't rest. There have been times I've been laid up in the bed from it. I hurt a vertebra a few weeks ago. My fault. Didn't rest. God made that rest for me when I wouldn't do it for myself. Something will create that Sabbath if you don't give it. Now, I don't know if you caught it, but back there in Genesis, God blessed it just after he made it. If you're keeping track from Genesis 1, that's the third time he's blessed something. Third time. He created animals to live in the world, and he blessed them. I love that. It's the first thing he blessed there. Animals are awesome. We all love them around here. Then he said, be fruitful and multiply. And once it had God's blessing, then it's supposed to multiply. His expectation is always multiplication. God always wants there to be fruitfulness and growth. And then he made man. And that's the second thing he blessed. He blessed man. He said, be fruitful and multiply. He blessed it. It's supposed to multiply. And then on this day, the seventh day, he created the Sabbath rest. And what did he do? He spoke a blessing over it. What is his expectation? Well, I think it can be inferred here that his expectation is that that blessing of the Sabbath would be multiplied. And therefore, the rest that we receive and the rejuvenation that's ours when we truly rest is going to be multiplied. It's going to be a blessing that you can give to the world around you. I know I'm a blessing to my wife a little bit more when I've rested. You're not supposed to be that excited about that. Some of us, notice I said us and not y'all. I'm totally honest this morning. Some of us are running on red. We're chronically fatigued. We're totally overloaded. We're not able to multiply blessings that we don't have. We're not able to give rest to others. People go, how you doing? Oh, man, I'm totally busy. I'm hanging in there, barely. We can't multiply that blessing of rest because we haven't remembered the Sabbath day. We haven't kept it holy like we've been commanded to do. But when you've truly stopped and you've said no to the world and said no to the needs that are out there so that you can be rejuvenated, when you come back to life and back to the rest of the world, because you remembered that Sabbath day and you received that rest, you're able to multiply that blessing and do so much more for anybody else than you ever could have before. You'll be a greater blessing to the world because you were obedient. And you took that day your soul needed, and now you're able to be a better version of yourself when you go out there. You're not dragging. You're not miserable. You can actually accomplish things because you rested. Can't very well pour out if you're not getting poured into. And this is one of the critical, it's the very first way God showed us to be poured into. This is critical. We don't mind talking about being poured into with worship, which is awesome. Being poured into with knowledge and teaching, which is awesome. The very first thing God told us to be poured into with was rest. I mean, there's got to be a reason he put it first, right? Then he said this in verse 9, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall do no work, neither your son nor daughter, nor manservant, maidservant. Even your animals get the day off. My animal doesn't work. He just lays in the bed and expects us to feed him. Oh, no. The world has changed with the animals a little bit. Anyway, even your animals get the day off. Nor the alien within your gate. And then verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that's in them, but he rested on the seventh day. And it brings it all back to God. Because I know the moment you take the day off, you're going to be saying, yeah, but you don't know my schedule. It's going to make tomorrow that much harder, right? You don't know what it's like to have little kids, which I absolutely do. Yeah, it's tough. Because we all think we're the exception. Listen, take the day off. Are you more important than God? If God would model it for us, really, seriously, are you capable of doing more than God? That's what God modeled for us. Take the day off. You have more on your plate than God. I'm sure he was busy. No. Take the day off. After he created the whole world, he chose to take the day off. And then look at this. It says, therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. That word holy, it's different, set apart, not like the rest of the days. The rest of the days are for working, but not this day. This day is for delight, a day of wonder. Not just to sit there and don't do anything. Doesn't mean that. It means to delight in the things that you've worked so hard for. It's holy. It's set apart for that. A day that you get to enjoy. A day to be still, to cease labors and efforts. A day to let things lie where they are. Here's a funny thing I noticed when I read through this week. Adam, first day on planet Earth, his first full day was a day of rest. I never thought about that before. But that's what Jesus brings into our lives. You see, religion, the rules in religion tell you to do more. What do you got to do to earn God's love? What are you going to do to earn God's favor? And Jesus says, no, you're just showing up here in relationship. I've done it all. I've took care of it. Rest in that. Your job is to rest in what I've done. How can I rest? I didn't do anything. Well, that's the point. Jesus took care of all of it for us. All those 6 days on the cross, you don't have to do anything. He paid your bill. You don't have to work on that. You may have to work to feed yourself and your family, but you don't got to work on that. Grace isn't based on you. Religion says, behave and you'll be saved. Grace says, just receive what I've already done and taken care of. Jesus, if you look at it that way, I hope this makes sense. Jesus, in a way, is our Sabbath day rest. So the Sabbath, or this idea of rest, is more than a day. Do you see that? It's something that's meant to infect and invade every part of our lives, every cell in our bodies. It's a day of rest. So, 2-point sermon. I could have just got to this and moved on with the day. The first point's this: you were made to work. I want to acknowledge that. You were created to work. The Sabbath talk should not begin with the Sabbath. That's day 7. Let's talk for just a second about days 1 through 6, because the parts and the components of this whole thing are what qualifies us for the Sabbath. Work looks different. People have physical limitations. People have all kinds of limitations. I'm not saying your work should look like my work. My work's not that hard. I'm behind a desk all the time. It's not really that difficult. Some people are doing a lot harder work than me. That's not the point of this at all. You were made for work, and that qualifies you for the Sabbath. What you do qualifies you for that. And here we are. Verse 9 of Exodus 26 says, 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. So yeah, work ethic's a good thing. You need to work. You need to work before you rest. Work hard. But both of these things, if neglected, open us up to temptation, I think. When you're not working and you're just idle, you're positioned for a fall into temptation. So I don't even know who said idle hands are the devil's workshop. It's not the Bible. I don't know who said it, but it makes sense to me. You're positioned for temptation. Similarly, though, when we're working, burning the candle at both ends, you're also susceptible to temptation. Why? Because if you don't get rest where you should, you're going to look for it where you shouldn't. We've all, we got to kind of figure out what keeps us at our best in that middle ground, because when your tank's full, you're going to see through the enemy's lies. You're not going to be susceptible to these things. So we're made to work hard. You were made to work. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10 says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Grow your business. Multiply your wealth. Awesome. Let's be a blessing to our family and our future generations. Do everything that God's called you to do. You have permission to create wealth. We have this whole thing about money's bad, money's bad, money's bad. Read the book of Genesis. It doesn't say that. It's amazing what happened if you read the Bible. The Bible said there's gold in the land and it is good. And when you allow that gold in your heart, though, when you allow money to be the passion of your life and it eclipses God, then it becomes an idol. And I'd rather not have it at that point. So what we need to do is we need to understand that we should work. We should be blessable. We should be promotable. You don't get a promotion because you don't work hard. You get it because you work hard. Shouldn't be, if you didn't get the promotion, it shouldn't be because you didn't work. Shouldn't be because you don't have a good spirit about you. You should work at everything. Work at your emotional intelligence, getting along with people. Use your mind. Work hard. Do it for the glory of God. Have you ever looked at the work you do as an act of worship? It changes everything. That motivates me. There are times I'm at work and I'd rather be anywhere but at work. Can I just go home? Just go sit down somewhere. But when you look at it this way, as an act of worship to God, everything changes about how you do your job. Colossians explicitly says, whatever you do in word or deed, do it for the glory of God. whatever it is. There should always be a contribution. Again, it looks different, but there should always be work. Work and responsibility are good for you. And once you retire from a career, now you can put yourself into something new. Used to know an old guy, he always had something silly to say about things like this, and he says, I'm not retiring, I'm refiring. You remember? She knows who I'm talking about. I always thought that was hilarious. That was just him. You can do something different. You can have more time to invest in your family. But secondly, you're made to rest. And even though we could do more, even though we could find more, we could surely pour ourselves into what we see as an important step in taking care of our souls to rest, right? That's your job. You've done the 6 days, now it's your job to rest. And you're like, okay, what am I going to do on that day? Worship, rest, rejuvenate, delight. Maybe I should read my Bible. Well, now what am I going to do with the other 23 hours and 53 minutes, right? In my mind, it should feel like a vacation. Well, so ask yourself this. What rejuvenates you? Being here rejuvenates me to some extent. I'm working on Sundays some, but to some extent, this rejuvenates me being with you guys. But the key is rest. The key is worship. The key is rejuvenation. For some of you, if your Sabbath is Sunday, great. Starting off like this in your week is phenomenal. Receiving God's word, worshiping together, great. Prayers are part of it. Blessing your children. Take a moment to bless your kids. Speak life over your children. Focus on them for a day. Pray for peace for them and God's power on them. And a Sabbath is in singing songs, but let me just suggest this. It's also in keeping silent. Taking a walk, being in nature, reading your scripture, sharing a meal. Personally, my Sabbath time needs to be quiet. My brain is running 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time. And I'm around a lot of communicators in my life. That's the nice way of saying I'm around talkative people. My Sabbath has to be quiet. If I'm going to be rejuvenated, I got to have a little bit of quiet time, a day of rejuvenation. It's a day to look forward to. It's a good day, a day to be excited before, to prepare for, look forward to. And listen, here's what I've found. It takes hard work to rest well. Hebrews 4, it sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? It's in the Bible. Hebrews 4, verse 11 says, let us therefore make every effort to enter rest. What's that mean for me? Well, it means organizing for me. This is some good stuff. God's really speaking to me personally to kind of tweak things around to be able to rest better. Because what I've done historically is I've done all the work on my day off that I don't get paid to do. If I got time off, I got a weekend, that's when you do all the work that's not your job, because there's always something to paint, a bill to pay, a garage to organize, a yard to mow, a shelf to hang because my wife asked me to hang it. I don't know. There's always 1,000,000 of those things, and it's work. I'm doing work on my day off because we all do work that we don't get paid to do, right? Let me encourage you to praise God because you do live in America and we do get a 2-day weekend. Isn't that awesome? So I try to organize those things. If I have a 2-day weekend, then one of those days I'm going to take care of the things that need to be done around the house, the chores, the bills, those kind of things, and give myself another day of rest. But I got to think ahead and get that stuff done ahead to be able to do so. It may be different for you. You're like, well, you don't know what it's like. I'm a waitress. Or I'm a whatever, and you have to work on Sunday. Well, trust me, I get it. I'm not making this stuff up off the top of my head. I tend to work on Sunday a little bit. Do I look like I'm resting at the moment? Maybe not. Sunday is not my day off, This is not my Sabbath, and I'm not going to be legalistic about that. This is the Lord's day, and sometimes it's stressful, especially when you're in ministry or when you got music to prepare for. And work. These guys work hard to make this stuff sound good. They make it sound easy. It is not. Sometimes it can be stressful. So Sabbath isn't more than a day, but it ain't less than a day. And I'll tell you what it's not. Historically, it's not Sunday. we tend to worship the idea of it being Sunday, and that's actually kind of silly. That's not even the day they used in biblical times. Listen, not everyone agrees with me on this, but could your Sabbath be a Wednesday or a Tuesday? I don't see why not. I'm not trying to be legalistic there. Historically, for my family, it's been Monday. From my other job, I've been able to work my schedule so I have Mondays off. And historically, that's the day we've taken because I'm tired when I leave here on Sunday. I talk more on Sunday morning than I do the rest of the week combined. So I'm tired. So we've historically done that. So don't call me on Monday. Just kidding. You can call. I'll ignore it, but you can call. You see my point, though. My point is figure it out. Find a day. Make every attempt to enter into that rest. So for us, the other day of the week, if you have a 2-day weekend, it tends to be Saturday and Monday. For us, and Saturday, I'm trying to get all that stuff done so that Monday we can rest. Or some weeks, it's just the way it works out. The things are going to happen on Monday. So Saturday, I'm going to lock myself somewhere and be quiet for a while and try to rest. So you got 5 days working for your boss, a day off where you just do the stuff you got to do, and a day for Sabbath. But work hard. Make every effort to let one of those days be an absolute thrill of sleeping in. I don't know what you like. Wear your robe all day and eat carbs. Whatever is going to give you some peace and rest. Take the day off. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but sometimes I get paralyzed into not getting things done, worrying about taking a day off. Sounds counterintuitive, but you're so stressed about what you're not doing that you don't get any rest. It's wrong. God commanded you to do this. Rest in it. Take the day off. Does good things for inside of you. One Jewish rabbi said we should start the Sabbath day by declaring this over ourselves. He said, you should declare, today I will pamper my soul. How good would it feel to have a day where you're like, what's on the agenda today? What's on the to-do list? Check this one off. Today I pampered my soul. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't have a frame of reference for that, I don't think. Me and you both got to figure that out. Get lost in a good way. Wander through the woods in a good way. Let me encourage you not to give in to the consumer temptation and the consumer consumption on that day. That's not what that day is for. Figure it out. There's lots of days for Walmart and IKEA. There's a lot of days to go to Target. Maybe that relaxes you. Maybe I shouldn't say this. See what you have. Look around. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy what God has blessed you with. Spend the day with your family. Instead of worrying about fixing something in the house, maybe your coffee, you want to buy a new coffee maker. Well, just enjoy the coffee in the old one today. There'll be a day for that. It all comes back to coffee for me. The Sabbath is a day to take delight in what you've worked for those 6 days for. I don't know that I've ever done a Sabbath sermon in my life. I've been doing this for years. This is really sticking with me today. Some of you are working hard and you're not enjoying what you're working hard for. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is just my life. This is the hand I've been dealt. And God's saying it absolutely is not. I believe you'll get more accomplished if you let the work lie for one day. It'll still be there when you get back. How many of you know that? It ain't going anywhere. It's still going to be there. God's rhythm is a Sabbath. Man wasn't made for the Sabbath. And think of it this way. Man wasn't made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man. That's what Jesus says. He put it this way in Mark 27. The Sabbath was made for man and not man for Sabbath. Well, that's pretty much to the point, right? He was speaking to people who were really good at keeping the Sabbath. As a matter of fact, they were so good at obeying these Sabbath laws that they missed the whole point and they ruined it. It wasn't rest because they had to work so much in not doing certain things on the Sabbath. The rule was that they could only be on their own property. They couldn't go travel somewhere else. So they would gather up their property and they would lay it out in front of them and step there. and then lay it out in front of them and step another step to get where they wanted to go and do what they wanted to do. And Jesus is like, dude, you're missing the point here. You're so good at it that you ruined it. It wasn't made for God. You're not doing something that pleases God necessarily. God did this for you. This is what's best. It's a gift. God gave you a day and blessed it to be yours every single week that passes. So every week that you live with no days off is a week where you've been given a gift and you left it unopened. The Sabbath was made for man. Here you go. Enjoy it. You're going to be well if you do. I want to end this with an invitation from Jesus that he gave. It was a question. In this passage of Scripture, by the way, Jesus ended up doing 2 Sabbath day miracles. Oh, they didn't like that. It's working on the Sabbath. They missed the point. A really good portion of Jesus' miracles occurred on the Sabbath, which makes me wonder, what miracles do we miss out on when we don't spend time with God on the Sabbath? He said this to them in Matthew chapter 11. This is the message. It's a paraphrase, but I thought it was really eloquent the way it said this. So I'm going to read this from Matthew chapter 11 from the Message. He said, are you tired? Jesus, are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. I don't know about you, but I want to live freely and lightly.